Okay, I'm live. I know it's Friday. I'm sure you guys have lots of things to do, but I hope you join me. Oh, let me get my sound off here. It is rainy outside. I don't know where all of you guys are at today, but I'm telling you, I have a cup of coffee for this live right now because this rain is making me sleepy. Hey, Stacy. Oh man, I was just saying this rain is making me so sleepy. I had to make a cup of coffee. We're gonna get some energy up. Oh, I'm so excited. It's Friday though. I feel like I've spent months telling people like, "Oh, well, it's another Friday, so on Saturday we're going to do the same thing we do every day because we haven't been going anywhere." But now I'm kind of asking people again, "What are you doing this weekend?" So I'd love to know if you're on, what are you doing this weekend? We don't have a lot planned. Um, Mostly hanging around the house tomorrow. I do need to run a few errands. Hobby Lobby is on my list. So we'll see. I'm wanting to redecorate the wall that's this way that you guys can't see to make it an awesome backdrop for videos. So I'm hoping to go to Hobby Lobby to look for some picture frames to put up. So I'd love to know what you guys have going on this weekend. Happy Friday. Hey, Yvonne. Good to see you. On somewhere other than Slack where we've been hanging out all day. um, Yay! You're doing your sales funnel challenge homework. That made my day. Actually, so I was gonna mention that, oh yeah, it's Cameron's birthday. Uh-huh, and a house. Celebrating Cameron all weekend. That's so exciting. So, I bet that is really exciting to have something to do this weekend instead of just, oh, we're just going to do nothing like we do all the time. I bet it's really excited to actually have plans. So I'm ready to get back to that point where we have plans and things to do. Actually, I just found out today that Steven's off for the Friday before Memorial Day, and part of me is kind of thinking, oh, I wonder if I should take off and we should try to do something, or at least I don't know, drive somewhere, like get out of the house a little bit or do something different. So we're pondering that a bit. We'll see where it goes. But yeah, our weekend is pretty normal other than so I struggled with the fact that I'm not the financial brain in my business. That's my husband. He actually works for Ernst and Young, one of the big four audit firms. So he is like super math person and I am not. So we actually schedule days to work on Oak's Creative House stuff when it comes to pricing, what we pay freelancers, our finances, even services, contracts, getting a different set of eyes on things, more of that analytical side. We schedule full days for that so that I'm not interrupting him all the time while he's trying to work and asking him, could you help me with this or could you help me with this? We schedule full days for that kind of stuff. So we are actually doing that on Sunday, pending that, nothing crazy comes up. But we'll spend the whole day like having coffee and I'm that's like when we map out things like this. So I'm excited that that is this weekend because I have like a whole pile of questions to ask him and things to go over with him that I'm really like waiting to talk to him about. But we actually turn it into a really fun day. During like non-quarantine, we actually hit up different coffee shops and then in the afternoon we turn it into cocktail hour. So we'll do coffee shops in the morning and talk about things and then we'll do lunch and we'll have like a working lunch and then in the afternoon we'll hit up a happy hour somewhere and then we'll keep talking about business and work. So we're doing that this weekend, but at home, so it'll be a little bit less fun. But I do have a ton of mint to make mojitos, so we may, have a happy hour in there at some point. Oh, you're going to Sulphur for Memorial Day. That's awesome. I did kind of think about an Elk City trip. We'll see if my mom joins on and she's like, what? We'll see if that happens or not. So yeah, I'm excited about that. One of the things that I had written down for my small talk to happen before we dive fully in is books. So I started a new book today. And for those of you who follow me, know that I'm crazy about books and I consume content all the time. And I don't know why I'm super blessed with being able to work and listen to audiobooks at the same time. And every now and then I'll run into a time where I need to turn it off. I cannot write and listen to books at the same time. I have to have music or silence then. But I did start a new book today, and it's called Fear is Not the Boss of You by Jennifer Allwood. And I'm about halfway through it, and whew, it's amazing. She is dropping some truth bombs in that book about just fear and watching other people on social media and, you know, relationships in your life and letting other people like get in your head. And there's so much good content in there. She talks a lot about self-confidence and pushing yourself through that. And yeah, it's a really good book so far. So I'm recommending it, even though I'm only halfway through. But a couple other ones that I wanted to mention that I've read recently are Untamed by Glennon Doyle. And I guess she's written a lot of other books too, but this is the one that I had recommended to me. And I finished it up about a week ago or so, and I thought it was really fantastic too. One of my favorites that I've read over the past couple months is I'm Fine and Other Lies by Whitney Cummings. So Whitney Cummings is she's a comedian, but she suffers from chronic migraines, and they had her as a guest speaker on the Migraine World Summit that I watched because I pick up all kinds of tips and questions to go ask my neurologist, and I watch it every year. And so she was a guest speaker. She was talking about her book, said she had several chapters in there about her journey with migraines. So I immediately downloaded it, of course, like pop in my earphones, wanted to listen to it immediately. And I have to say, like, it was an incredible book. She does talk about migraines, but really the whole book is about her life and just overcoming obstacles throughout her whole life. And she does it, of course, she's a comedian, so she does it in this really funny way. And I'm telling you, I was cracking up laughing through the whole book. And I know some people don't love audiobooks, but listening to a comedian deliver an audiobook was totally different because she actually went off script several times and was like making fun of herself. Like at one point she was like, "Oh shit, I dropped the paper." And I think that that was really fun to see because she was super honest and vulnerable throughout the whole reading of the book. And I really enjoyed it. So that was a fun one. So I would love to know for my fellow readers who might be watching what you guys have been reading lately, because I'm always looking for book recommendations. And if you ever need a book recommendation, one, it's all over the resources section on my website, but I have an Amazon wish list that I could send to you that every time a book is recommended in another book, in a TED Talk that I watch, in any sort of course that I take, I immediately add it to my Amazon wish list. So it's like just chocked full of book recommendations that I've gotten from people, if you ever need it. Okay, it's been almost 10 minutes, so I did want to talk a little bit about yesterday's live. So I got some amazing feedback on yesterday's live. It was incredible. I had several people reach out to me individually and let me know how helpful it was for them. So I was really excited about that. And I didn't really mean for it to turn into like a mini personal development session about you have the thing that you can offer, but I hope that that really spoke to the right people that it needed to. I always feel like there's a reason why sometimes that content pops in my mind and comes out of my mouth. So I hope it reached the right people who needed to hear it. Yeah, I really believe that if you do something new for the very first time, like this sales funnel challenge, right? This is a new thing for almost everyone. Even pieces of it are kind of new to me. I'm taking the latest that I'm reading in marketing trends and delivering that to you in real time. So some of it, as I was mentioning, pieces on my website that I still need to work on. But I did want to say that you have to give yourself a little bit of grace. Like, you're not going to just nail it the first time. That's impossible. You have to do what you can with what you have and then know that it's not done at that point, and just keep looking at it and keep leveling it up over and over and over again until it is something that you're really proud of. But know that these kind of things don't happen overnight. They don't even happen overnight for the people that you hire like me. It is a process to build out a sales funnel. There's multiple steps to it. There's a lot of questions to ask yourself, and it's not something that's just going to happen immediately. So a little bit of grace, and then just knowing that you can just keep at it over and over again and keep improving, I think is the best thing to remember. So yeah, most of us in the group don't have a lead generator at all. So I hope that some of the tips that I was giving would at least help you to get started. Okay, a fiction series. Yvonne, I'm really glad that you commented that, because I've actually been looking for something that will kind of reset my mind at the end of the day to get me out of work mode, because I really struggle at the end of the day to relax. I'm either like going 100 miles an hour or I crash. I'm like at 100 or 0. There's no in between for me. And actually, somebody mentioned fiction to me. They were like, "You love to read already. You love to listen to audiobooks. I wonder if like popping in a fiction book or pulling one out to read might kind of help to." You're still gathering content, you're still listening to something, you're not just zoning out on Netflix, but at the same time, it's not necessarily like more to do items added to your plate at the end of the day. So fiction is something that I have been wanting to dive into, so I will definitely check those out. So I know that several of you came up with lead generators. And obviously, I see that it is Friday and our numbers are dying off on lives, but I know that a lot of people are going to come back and watch this. So for those of you who haven't came up with your lead generator yet, there are comments in that video from yesterday of great lead generator ideas. There were ideas in the emails that I sent out. I told you all the lead generator PDFs that I have. So if you're watching this one and you're like, "Oh, I didn't ever come up with a lead generator, so now I'm skipping a step," go back and watch that video or read some of the comments, because there are some great ones for you to pull information from that may spark an idea for your lead generator. Okay, so I wanted to talk a little bit about a sales funnel in general and your customer's journey to this point. So today we're talking about email nurture campaigns, but really what we're doing is we're finishing off the sales funnel for your potential customer. And that's such an important thing to note, because just because we're talking about these pieces individually, I don't want you to lose sight of the big picture and the overall thing that you're working towards. So I wrote up a little bit of a walkthrough of where your customer's journey has been till now. So they read your one-liner or a variation of it, most likely on a social media post, but it could have been in a mailer that you sent out. You could have said it to them at a networking event and handed them a thanks, Chloe. Man, you always distract me with your heart emojis. I love it. Thank you. I had to put on my green to match the group. So you did your one-liner and you're telling them, maybe even at a networking event, you're saying, "Here's a little bit about what I do," and you're pulling some of that great information to regurgitate to them. And you hand them a business card, right? And they decide that they're going to go to your website. They read something that came out of that one-liner that took them to your landing page. So either the homepage or your specific landing page, but they're now on your website. Right? And now you're leading them through this landing page experience, and you are building up their virtual trust as they go. You're answering the questions that are in their mind. You're connecting the dots for them. You're really solidifying what it is that you bring to the table that could be beneficial to them. You're giving them that 3-step plan, something really easy to follow. And then they said, "Oh, that sounds really good." They're nodding their head as they're reading, right? And they're saying, "Oh, okay, yeah. Oh, that really aligns with me. That's really great." But then they're not quite ready to purchase. So that's when they click on your lead generator. So they're saying, I'm not really ready to buy yet, but oh, they have 10 tips to blah, 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 whatever you came up with, right? And they give you their email address in exchange for that thing. And now they've downloaded it and you have their email address. What the heck do you do with it? Right? So that's what we're talking about today, is that next step, the next piece of their journey. So the next piece of their journey is the email nurture campaign. So the short answer for what is a nurture funnel is a nurture funnel is where you love on them and you nurture them. And you use that time, this limited time that you still have their attention, to earn your space in their inbox. Think about that for a minute. They could have subscribed to anyone's emails. They could have not put in their email address at all. But now they have, and they got the thing that they wanted, right? They got the PDF, or they got the webinar, they got the video. But what gives you the right to continue emailing them? Why would they not just hit unsubscribe? That's where the nurture campaign comes in. You're loving on them and you're nurturing them, and you're saying, you know what? I do deserve that space in your inbox. And furthermore than that, I deserve to do business with you. But we're going to get to that. Let's talk about you a little bit first. That's the journey that you're taking them through. So the long answer for what is a nurture campaign is it's 3 to 5 emails that drip out. Some people call them drip campaigns, and they drip out into that person's inbox in a sequence. You get one, and then you get the other, and then you get the other, right? 3 to 5 emails typically. So the goal with these emails is to build up their sense of trust in your company so that they know where to go when they're ready to buy. Another thing to keep in mind is that a lot of people will research multiple companies before they decide to make a purchase, especially if it comes to a high ticket item. But even for small purchases, I mean, I just said earlier I'm buying picture frames for my wall. I've been on Amazon, Wayfair, I've been on Hobby Lobby's website, I've been all over the internet looking for picture frames for my wall, right? It's not a huge purchase, but I want to make sure I'm getting it from the right place. All of those companies had the ability to capture me afterwards and continue talking, continue that conversation. One of my favorite marketing statements I've ever heard is, don't reinvent the wheel, continue the conversation that's already happening in their mind, right? I'm already decorating my office. I already want picture frames. How do you continue that conversation with me in some way, shape, or form? So one great thing to remember is that people buy when they feel safe and understood. I know you've heard me say this a million times, but I feel like it's that important that I have to just keep saying it, right? And you know the mission that you have in your heart, right? You know who you are. You know what you bring to the table for them, but they don't know you. They found you on the internet, right? They don't know you yet. So how do you build up that trust with them? They are gonna buy when they're ready to buy. This is not something that you can force them into doing. This is, yeah, we can set time limits on sales. We can, put something about this expires at midnight, or this coupon's only good for whatever. We only have 10 of these in stock. But at the end of the day, someone is only going to take money out of their bank account and put it into yours when they're ready to make a purchase. So that means that you have to be patient. You have to be patient, and you have to continue to show up and show them who you are so that you can earn their money. So that's the best thing in my mind that an email nurture campaign does. And it's great to keep in mind that everyone has a different time span or lifespan of their buying cycle. When I was writing these notes, I wasn't quite sure how to say that, but I may go to a website and think, okay, I need new coffee mugs. And I'm going to look at 2 different websites, and I found these that I really like, and I'm going to go ahead and push purchase. But when she watches this, she will be nodding her head, but my mother is a little bit slower to some of her purchasing decisions. So It may take a few other websites looking around. She may need to go in a couple stores in person before she decides really on that set of 4 coffee mugs that she wants to buy. So everyone kind of has this different time span that they're comfortable with learning what it is that they could purchase and then deciding to purchase it. So be patient with them and just keep loving on them until they either buy from you or unsubscribe. And actually, when they buy from you, keep loving on them to get the next thing and the next thing without being salesy. Just be yourself. So let's talk about email marketing in general. I know that we all hate getting spam messages in our inbox. But if you think about it, email marketing is proven to work. And people do love to see emails from companies that they really like, right? There are some companies that I truly care about that I love to get their emails, even if they are sales. I shop from Thrive Market online. They have all kinds of allergy-friendly snacks and grain-free products. They're like an online Sam's, but with no fresh stuff, no produce. And I get their emails, and half the time I only order groceries from them once every couple of months. But I love to see their emails because they have recipes in there. They have new products that are out in the market that are peanut free or whatever the thing is that I'm looking for. They actually go further and talk about natural pet supplies and cleaning supplies, and I like to receive their information. So of course, that's an email marketing campaign that works really well for me because I am in alignment with that company. I like the things that they do. I'm one of their great customers. So nurture campaigns actually have one of the highest open rates of them all. That's so exciting because it's only like 3 or 5 emails. To me, I think it took me the longest time to wrap my head around this, but it's actually the easiest sit down and write emails that I have ever done. It was so easy. So nurture campaigns have the highest open rates at all, and I will say that that's true for my business too, because since I launched my nurture campaign, I have peeked in on those open rates a little bit, and they're way higher than any other emails that I have ever sent out. So the thing is that when someone gives you their email address, they want to get to know you. They want to get to know you. And this is your chance to show them who it is that you are, to get to know them a little bit too. This is your chance to really engage with them, to really be yourself, to show them, hey, I really think we should continue to be email friends, right? You should continue to let me show up in your inbox, or you should buy the thing from me because we're in alignment. That's what we're trying to prove here. Yes, Stacy, I love that. Thank you so much for commenting that. It's all how we are hardwired if we're fast or slow at decision makings. I love that. Thank you so much for sharing that. And that's exactly the point that I'm trying to get across. So a lot of people will say, well, I posted something on social media one time and then nobody bought anything. Or I released one sale ever, nobody did anything with it. My methodology for that is that you have to keep showing up over and over and over again. If you are always there, when someone is ready to buy, they will find you. They'll find you, or they'll come back to you if you're putting out good content. If you have served them in any way, they'll come back and buy from you. And I have seen that time and time again. I've had people come back to me a year later and say, I wasn't ready for that logo then that I originally inquired about, but now I am. And now I want to move forward with you. A year later, they read all of my content. It was crazy. So before you think, I have to be such an expert at email marketing in order to do this, you don't. You don't have to be an expert at email marketing to do this. This is a simple step. I want you to think about writing these 3 emails just like you're writing to a friend. The scenario that came in mind was like a pen pal. Did you ever have a pen pal when you were little? I had a pen pal that was in Oregon. Why I had a pen pal that was in Oregon, I have no idea. I have no recollection of how we even like got to be pen pals, but we wrote each other things on like Lisa Frank stationery and we would send letters back and forth from Oklahoma and Oregon. And if you think of it that way, how else can they get to know you but through the things that you're writing down, or even through a video that you record? My Nurture campaign has a video in it. So think about like a long distance pen pal and that you're writing to them and you're really trying to get some personality out in your words. I want you to not think about these 3 emails like some sort of hard and fast sales letter. I don't want it to be this very strict way of writing. I want this to be like you would write to a friend. If your personality comes out, if your honesty comes out, that's when they will decide, hey, I think that that person is a great fit for me. I think that that company is a great fit for me. So that's how I love to look at nurture campaigns. Now, you can still use the pastor method that we went over yesterday, but I would just say keep things lighthearted, get your personality in there. Like, I have way too many gifs and emojis in my nurture campaign, but I really think people leave my nurture campaign knowing my personality, knowing if they got on a call with me, what they could expect. And that really is the goal, because they're deciding after 3 or 5 emails if they're in alignment with you or not. So you want to show them as much of you and your company's personality as you can in that short amount of time. So let's talk about these 3 to 5 emails that you're going to send out. I have them mapped out. So the first one, I like to look at the first email as the one that's going to go out immediately after they download your lead generator. So I know we've all done this. You've went to a website and you've downloaded a PDF, or you've signed up for a webinar or whatever, and immediately afterwards you get this, thank you so much for downloading that thing. Or I'm not talking about a purchase receipt or the email that maybe has the download in it. That could be 2 different things if you want it to be, depending on how your system is set up. But I'm really talking about this, hey, thank you. Truly, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for reading my content. And I like to do a couple things in this. I like to continue to build their trust by giving and giving and giving and giving. So I link to other downloads that I have available that maybe they missed on my website. I link to my blog because it has great information. I link to this business group and tell them that they should join us. I you could link to a YouTube channel if you had a YouTube channel up. You could link to your social media if that's a great place to get kind of in the now information about you and your company. So this email number 1 is continuing the conversation that's already happening. With your lead generator, you loved on them, right? You gave them something. Continue to give to them in this email, and they will so appreciate you for it. And as people get really great at segmenting lists, you could give resources specific to that lead generator. For instance, if I had, and this is kind of level 2 or 10, if I had a lead generator that was all about websites, my email number 1 after that somebody downloaded that could be all now information about websites. And I'm not talking about my services websites. I'm not talking about selling them on buying something from me. I'm talking about more information that they can have for free. So think about what else could you give them. And the way that I do it is I just continue to build up more lead generators. I continue to post on my blog and a link to all of those things in this email so that they can see all the things that I have to give away. And I think that that's kind of a great way to do it too. So email number 2, I've been talking a lot. I'll go for some coffee. Okay, email number 2, this is the one where I like to flip the script just a little bit and talk about me. I like to introduce myself because it's pretty likely that someone landed on my website, scrolled it really quickly, saw that there was a link to the thing that they wanted to download and clicked download. How many of us have been guilty of that? So many times. This is where you get to say, hey, you probably didn't really get a chance to look at all the pieces of my website. So let me tell you a little bit about myself. Let me tell you about our company. Let me tell you what we're all about. And, Yvonne, if you were doing this, it could even put in some of the, we work with female VAs because we're here to empower women. That's some of the information that you could put in this about email where it's not salesy, it's not braggy. You're not putting your resume in this email. You're giving them information about yourself, about your company. So I really let them know why the heck should they listen to me. Now, if you did the landing page challenge, we talked about a section that talked about why you. That is great content to repeat here. Why do you have the authority to do this thing with them? Do you have a few awards that you've won? You don't want to make it a resume, but you can do this in a way just like you were writing a letter to a friend. I wanted to share this information with you because I'm so excited about it. And then link them to the About page. Link them to your About page and say, would you like to learn more information? Click here. Easy as that. So talk to them about what it is that you bring to the table. I might remind them here what my company does. I like to add an extra bonus download to this email just to give them a reason to open it. So in my headline, I say something about plus a bonus for you. And I think that helps with open rates. So this one, email number 2, is sent the next day following email number 1. So all of these are kind of if they're triggered, right? So if then. So if the person signs up for the emails, then they get email number 1, then the following day they get email number 2, then the following day they get email number 3. So that's a great way to kind of look at how this actually happens. So email number 3. This is where you actually come in for an ask. If they've read email number 1 and 2 and they haven't unsubscribed yet, it means they're probably interested in you. So now it's okay to ask them for something. And honestly, I feel like this is where a lot of businesses go wrong. I've talked to so many people that will say, I never get sales. I'm bad at conversion, but I go back and audit what they're doing and they're never really asking somebody to buy something from them. And if you're wishy-washy about it and you say, oh, if you guys want to hire me, I do stuff, let me know. How do they start that conversation with you? That's so hard. If you have blank page syndrome trying to talk about yourself in an email that you're sending out, and your own company in an email that you're sending out, how do you think they feel when you have this vague call to action and they're trying to reach out to you and say, I want to do business with you? They don't know how to start that conversation. Start it for them. Go ahead and start it for them. So say, here's what I have to offer to you. In this email in my nurture campaign, I list out my services. Hey, if you didn't know, here's all the things that Oaks Creative House actually does. And, on top of the community that we're building, on top of all the resources that we have that we're constantly adding to, these are the core services that we can actually do for you. And I even go in and say, and I have starter services for startups and nonprofits and people that are on lower budgets. So if you are looking for a place to get started, but you're not sure you can afford it, don't let that stop you from contacting me. And I have a very clear call to action. Book a free discovery call with me. What do you have to lose? It's free, right? And almost always, I'm going to say almost always, when I get on a discovery call with somebody, usually I can either convert them into a project or identify that they're really not ready for a project and they need to take about 10 steps backwards before they come back to me. And a lot of times, because I'm honest about giving them that advice, they will actually do that and come back to me, which is awesome. So in this email, remember, you have something awesome to offer them. And you created this business that you're in for a reason. So by not ever offering it to them, by not ever telling them to click here and sign up and whatever your call to action is, you're actually doing them a huge disservice because you're never leading them to the place that you really feel they need to go. And if you believe so wholeheartedly in the thing that you offer, this should be as easy as telling a friend about an awesome restaurant. So keep that in mind. So that is the third email that goes out. Now, I actually have, I wrote down my email nurture campaign sequence. I actually have 4 emails that go out. I don't know why I landed on 4. I just landed on 4 when I was brainstorming this. So my first one is a welcome, and it gives them links to more downloads. My second one talks about me, and I actually recorded a video that I put in it because I really wanted my personality to get across, and sometimes that's hard in words. My third one lists out our services that we offer, as I was mentioning. My fourth one actually prompts them for a survey. So I tell them, I want to know more about you and your business. And then I come in with a call to action. So in that same email, I'm saying, tell me about you, and are you ready to get started? A lot of times when they fill out the survey to tell me about themselves, I can watch that. If they fill out that survey but they didn't book a discovery call, I can reach out to them and say, oh my gosh, I read your survey. It sounds like you have such an awesome business. I would love to learn more about it. Do you think we could book a call so you could tell me about it? And that a lot of times will get them to book a call with me. So I found that that's really helpful, but you can have, I say 3 to 5 emails. I think any more than 5 is really overwhelming to them. But sometimes you may have something else that you want to do in this nurture sequence. So going over 3 is perfectly fine. Okay, so make sure I didn't miss anything here. Okay. If you've already written the content for your nurture campaign, you've went back, rewatched this, whatever, you've written the content, and you're stuck and you don't know what to do next, I would just tell you to go to MailChimp. If you don't have an email service yet, you don't have someone that you use, it's the most affordable and easiest to learn that I have found, so I recommend it to all of my clients. So if you go to MailChimp, 1, they have some templates kind of ready to go for you that you could use to get started with. And then 2, they have a whole help and knowledge section all about learning how to set things up, learning how to use their system. So it's very intuitive, I feel, but if you struggle with the technology side of things and get stuck, I also feel like they have awesome tutorials on how to show you how to do things. So let's talk for a minute, and while I'm going over these couple of things, if you have questions about the 3 emails and what they should contain, please throw that in the comments, and I will stop and address those, because I really think that it's simple, but it's almost one of those, is that too simple? I questioned it when I was first researching nurture campaigns, which I think is why I struggled with it at first. I was like, no, that's too simple. I don't understand, but it is super effective to keep things simple. So what about unsubscribes? What happens if during these 3 to 5 emails, somebody unsubscribes? Great. I actually applaud unsubscribes, which sounds really weird. I'm the same way with unfollowers on social media, because in this nurture sequence, you're really trying to find customers that are aligned with you. You're trying to find good fits for your business. So if they look over your initial content and they don't feel like they're a good fit, that's amazing. That means they've already identified it, and you don't need to spend more time with that person trying to mold them into something that they're not. If they're not a good fit for you, they're not a good fit for you. And that's an amazing thing to identify as quickly as possible. You don't want to get way down the road working with somebody and being like, I don't really think that's working out. Or you don't want to spend your marketing dollars continuing to put together content based around the wrong audience. If they're not aligned with you and they unsubscribe, power to them. It's almost how a lot of authors and even actresses will not go look at negative comments online. They'll have their assistant filter through them first and only show them the positive things. It's kind of the same thing. Do not go to MailChimp and look at how many people unsubscribed from your list just don't do it. It's not necessary. And I think it's just as important for someone to unsubscribe than to subscribe, because I don't want to waste my time with the wrong types of clients, right? Or potential clients. Okay, Stacy said, since your nurture campaign is 3 to 5 emails about a specific topic, are you 100% stopping at 5? Are you asking them in number 4 or number 5 to sign up for your regular email newsletter because this is the last email? I actually, Yvonne, correct me if I'm wrong on this, but I ask them for the big call to action in the last email, and I don't ask them to sign up. I go ahead and put them in my regular email campaign. When they sign up, it says that they've signed up for OCH newsletters, and this is just a welcoming kind of sequence that's in OCH newsletters. So when they're signing up for my regular emails. This is just the first taste of them that they get. So I don't ask them for a second sign up. Now, I know some people do ask for a second sign up. I feel like that's a great way to lose people, because there again, if they, were out of town and they missed it and they forgot to go back and sign up, but they really could have benefited from your emails and they were in alignment with you, now you've missed that person to work with later. So after the last email, they go into my regular newsletter list and they get my weekly emails. And some of that may overlap. Like they may download something on a Saturday and get their first email Saturday, their second nurture Sunday, and then my regular email Sunday, and then their third nurture on Monday. So Yvonne kind of let me know here. We let them know that they'll be receiving regular emails most likely on Sundays. So I do inform them of that. I just don't ask them to sign up twice. So I hope that helps. So unsubscribes, no big deal. I actually super applaud them. And then, the next thing I was going to say is what happens after the 3 nurture campaigns. So if they have stuck with you for 3 emails or 5 emails, whatever the case is, these are your people, right? These are your people. You get to sell to them even more. You get to tell them and breathe value into their lives, right? And this is such an amazing thing, because now you've not only found someone who's interested in you, but they're next level interested in you. They've not taken the time to unsubscribe yet, right? So you get to continue down this path of giving them information, even if your regular email marketing may look a little bit different than a nurture campaign. So I think that that's really exciting. Actually, my last email has a clapping gif or pop champagne or something, and it's like, oh my gosh, now we're really friends, because I really do feel that way. If someone has stuck with me for 4 emails and they've not unsubscribed, they're interested in something that I'm telling them. And I think that's huge to keep in mind. So after they've went through your nurture campaign, continue to market to them, whatever email marketing looks like for your business. And I know a lot of people that are watching this don't do email marketing yet at all. I highly encourage it. I highly encourage some sort of email marketing. And I send emails once a week. That was daunting for me to get up to. And I love writing content. It's one of my favorite things to work on, actually. But the thought of sending an email every single week was huge. Really gave me anxiety. So I started smaller than that. I sent emails once a month, and then I built up to once a week. There's some months I send 3 instead of 4, or whatever the case is, and that's okay. Nobody comes back to you and it's like, you only sent me 3 emails this month instead of 4. It's okay if you start with what you can manage. That kind of goes back to that. Give yourself a little bit of grace. Of course, we all want to be sending something every week, but building up to that is a ton of content to write. So don't worry if you're not there yet. If email marketing isn't your huge focus, you're working on your website right now. Gather the emails, and when you have turned your focus to email marketing, start where you can, and then build upon it until you can build up to that once a week email. Okay, so if anyone else has questions about the nurture emails and what actually goes in them, please pop those in the comments and I'll continue to answer some questions. Um, one of the other things I wanted to mention. Okay, my challenge is a little bit different today because I don't really expect everyone to write up 3 emails and post them to the group like by tomorrow. So, I think what would be great for you to do is go find 3 companies that you really admire. And they do not have to be in your industry at all. I look towards companies who are way outside of my industry for inspiration all the time. So go find 3 businesses that you really admire and download one of their lead generators. And over the next week or so, watch the emails that come in from that company. Yvonne will tell you, but I'm constantly like print to PDF from my email and attaching something on a Slack thread and saying, I love the way they did this sentence or this part or this call to action. Let's try to incorporate something kind of like that. I'm constantly watching what other people are doing. We don't knock them off, I don't plagiarize them, but I'm taking inspiration from what strikes me as something that worked for me. Because it's likely that if they got me to click on something and I'm looking for like-minded clientele in my company, that same type of approach would work for the people that I'm talking to as well. So that's kind of my challenge for you, is to go find 3 companies who you admire and download one of their lead generators or sign up for something that they have and watch the emails that they send you. Because I really bet that you'll find some pieces in that you really like that you could gather inspiration from. Okay, so today's email is going to show you how to set up an automation in MailChimp. It's a little bit of the technical how to do this once you have the emails designed. I'll be sending it out this evening, so if you haven't signed up for those yet, do that. And then tomorrow, let's talk about tomorrow. So tomorrow at 2 p.m., I'm going to do a live Q&A. I posted a poll in the group. I know not everyone's going to be able to make a 2 p.m. on a Saturday, but I posted a poll and that seemed to be the most popular, so that's what I went with. Here's my ask. If you all will post a question to the group to get the Q&A going, that would be amazing. And it can be about any part of the sales funnel. And I'm going to go back and talk about some of the questions that have been commented in the videos. But it would kind of allow me to get the chat going. I don't know how many people are going to be joining me on a Saturday, but I want everyone to be able to go back and rewatch this live from tomorrow next week too. So if you have a question or you think maybe, I think she could have covered this a little bit better, this could be a question that's in somebody else's mind for some of you who already know some of these things, please post it to the group so then I can talk about those specific questions in tomorrow's Q&A live. So tomorrow at 2 p.m. will be live Q&A. I'm doing it completely off the cuff, no script. I'm just going to take questions and answer them. So it may be me hanging out with the dogs until all of the questions come in. Oh, that's perfect, Stacy. Yeah, I love that. Oh, I need to check out that app too. I keep like folders on my computer of mood board kind of things like that too. And then yeah, I have a subscription to a stock photo site, and we create mood boards in there for a lot of clients too. So much fun. I actually have a whole folder on my desktop called To Read, and it's just emails that grabbed my attention at some point, but I haven't really decided what to do with them yet. So I just throw them in this To Read folder, and at some point I will read them all again and figure out what inspiration I'm really drawing from it. That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. I'm going to download that app tonight. Okay, not that I need more coffee, but it sounds good. Okay, if anybody has any other questions, I'll hang out for a couple more minutes. But yeah, tomorrow's Q&A, if you could post a question, because I have no content. So I'm a little bit worried about having to make small talk for like an hour. Nobody wants me to do that. Trust me. Nobody. I hope the nurture funnels were really helpful. Actually, it's when I sat down to write my nurture funnel, I thought that it would be really daunting. I'm telling you, it was like the easiest emails that I've ever written. I just sat down and I wrote it from my heart. And I think that they sound really good. So if you guys have gotten one of my nurture emails lately and you disagree, please let me know. But I really just tried to stay true to myself and really show them who I am, because I've found that that's the most important. I used to go to trade shows all over and I would take examples of my work, and I would want to show everybody, and I finally discovered that nobody wanted to see it. Nobody ever wanted to see my work. They wanted to tell their story. They wanted to tell me about them. And then they just wanted to get to know me. They didn't necessarily care that much about all of my awards. I've actually never talked about those. I have shelves up on my office walls of awards that I've won. I don't talk about those because nobody wants to know. To be honest, like they want to know who I am, because they feel like if they can understand who I am, then they will feel understood. And that's the most important thing, in my opinion. When I finally realized that, I'm going to say that my business doubled. I think it got really close to that. So, and then, coronavirus, but it was really fun to like watch the shift in my business whenever I started really realizing that they care a lot more about who I am than what I do. So I hope that tidbit is helpful. I can't believe I wrapped up 10 minutes early, so I'm going to let you guys go because I'm sure you have stuff. Oh, another question. Okay, awesome. That's a great question. I'll go ahead and answer that, and I may answer it tomorrow as well. She said, I don't understand how much of the email collection to email nurture 3 to 5 to email newsletter is automated or manual data entry copy paste. I have my website set up in WordPress, so I am able to automate email collection and feed it into MailChimp. I've done this with Wix through a customer to a client of mine. I've not done it in any other platform. I do know that it costs me money on Wix to do it that way. Like my client had to pay for an extra plugin or something to make that happen. But in WordPress, I use Gravity Forms. They sign up, and then that email goes directly into MailChimp. So I have a similar thing set up with all of my downloads. So when you download something off my website, you put in your email address, and that email address goes directly into MailChimp. And I'm wanting to even get a little bit more complex with that and tagging people for the things that they sign up for. But another great thing to keep in mind is MailChimp will actually make landing pages for sign up. So a lot of the ones that we post on social media have actually been created through MailChimp. We're able to put some text on there, an image, and then it will deliver the file to them. So Yvonne, correct me if I'm wrong on any of that, but they type in their email address and it goes directly to there. Now, the benefit of doing it through MailChimp is you can add tags. So say you had a couple different things happening in your business. I was just talking to Ashley, who's in this group, on the phone earlier, and she does boudoir photography and newborn. So say she had some lead generators that were all about how to get a baby to sleep and all baby related. And then she had another group of lead generators that were all body positivity or self-confidence, right? Or even how to do your hair or how to make your makeup pop in pictures. One set is going to be newborn focused, and the other set is going to be boudoir focused. So you can actually tag them in the MailChimp landing pages, newborn or boudoir. So then you can market specifically to those areas of interest, which is really intriguing. So they sign up on my website or download something, the email goes directly to MailChimp. Or they put in their email address through a MailChimp landing page, and that email's already in the system and tagged, which is great. So the email nurture happens automatically because we have it set up on an automation. through MailChimp. And then my email newsletter is pre-scheduled. So not necessarily automated, but the way that we do it is I work about a month ahead. So a lot of my content, like when the coronavirus hit, I was like, pause. We were changing emails right and left. But I work about a month ahead. So all of that content is ready and pre-scheduled. So it goes out every Sunday at a set time. Because that's when open rates are high. So if you want to know if you're doing email marketing, Sunday mornings and Thursdays are the highest for email open rates, at least in our area. Yes. Okay. So segmented tags. Yeah. I'm going to say Yvonne is like the pro at tagging and segmenting and all things MailChimp because she's had to figure it out for me. So if you need help with that, she'd be an awesome person to reach out to, but also MailChimp has a whole knowledge base on things like that. So much of it is automated. I'm not manually taking email addresses from my website and putting them into MailChimp. That kind of stuff happens automatically. So I hope that was helpful. Okay, let me know if you have any other questions. I'm thinking that a lot of those how questions will kind of come up in the group next week. I'm really hoping so. I would love for engagement to be up in the group, and I'm not 100% sure how to make that happen. Groups are new to me, obviously. This one's my first one. So any ideas that you guys have to throw at me on engagement or how to get people to kind of post the things that they're working on or where they're struggling, I would love to hear those. Please share them with me. Maybe it's more things like this. I don't know. Okay, perfect. Then I'm going to wrap things up so we can all do dinner and evenings and see if it rains in Oklahoma today. It's sprinkling a little bit. It's wanting to. So I will see you guys tomorrow at 2 p.m. If you can join me, I would love that. Maybe my wish is that in the morning you kind of get to go over your notes a little bit and come up with some questions for me. So yeah, if you have any questions, if you can't make it tomorrow, just post them in the group and you can always go back and watch the replay where I can answer your question that you posted. So I will see you tomorrow.